So for the first setup of the play circle we're going to be going over, we're going to be showing against a random zone coverage. And all the setup is going to be is we're going to max protect, and we're going to set up our protection like we do every time. But I'm not going to do that just for the sake of practice mode, but that's something you'll have to do every time. And we're just going to fade Y, and then we're going to slant B. And so what's great about this route combination is that X is going to get open basically every time. He has to be usered. Man coverage won't stay up with him as long as he's fast enough. Zones, there's no zone that really guards that area of the field. And we'll show that right here real fast. Just how he's... So you see if you wait on it, he's wide open on the sideline for 25 yards. Now, the next point, and what really makes this a unique play, is because there's a lot of routes and formations that have this, is that when he's coming from the short side, so you want the halfback on the wide side, basically. That's a rule of thumb for this offense. We have this slant coming across from B, and so what you're going to see with him is that he's going to get over a lot of the cloud flats, a lot of the underneath flat zones, and when you can playmaker him up, and he's going to hit a real soft spot where it's going to be a really easy throw. And we're going to show that right here. We have to scramble out, and we playmaker him up just a little bit, and he's wide open on the sidelines for 30 yards. And so that's kind of a really unique route combination. So basically, what we're doing here is both routes almost have to be usered. That's what we kind of put the user in a big dilemma, where both of them have to be usered. We see here once again, I threw it a little bit late, but you can see how he's wide open. We can do it again here. We wait on it. And that time, we didn't even need to playmaker him up. It was a tight throw, which is why I like to playmaker him up. But you can fit that ball in without playmakering him up. Here, we're going to hit the crosser. And notice how I don't have to wait to see what the coverage is. You know, I don't even have to wait to snap the ball. I told you who I was going to hit, and I hit him. That's just kind of goes to show how good that crossing route is, and then how good like this route combination is as a whole, where it doesn't really matter what the coverage is. Here we're gonna wait again. We're gonna playmaker him up, and then we're gonna add catch it, and you can see just how it really hits a soft spot in the zone coverage. Now the next thing I want to point out about this route combination is that if people start to get a little fancy, or start to do whatever they want, or just get weird with their coverages, if it's man-to-man like this, I'm double teaming the slots just to prove a point here. These slots are going to beat man coverage or top, basically no matter where the man coverage is coming from, unless the slot corner is really good. So we're going to wait on it, and we're going to see how he gets a step, and it's an easy touchdown. So man coverage just isn't really an option here, because you're going to be letting out touchdowns. You have to have help over top. And if you have help over top, then that's extra defenders you're committing just to take away a streak. Okay, so man coverage just isn't really an option on these slots, which is going to help us in our other plays out of this ebook. Now for the second setup of circle here, all we're going to do is, you see we have a random defense here as a cover 3. All we're going to have to do is max protect, obviously, we're doing it every play. We're going to hitch Y, we're going to hitch A, and then we're going to slant B again. And so what this is going to do is, when people are getting kind of blitz heavy against us, when they're sending pressure, there's going to be holes in their coverage, and what we're going to see is that hitches, especially from the slot, do a great job of getting underneath zones, getting in between zones, even beating man coverage, and they're really a great, reliable, safe throw to make. And so we're just going to set up a blitz, something like this. Let's say they're doing something like this. All we're going to do is make a quick read between our hitches and lowball one of them. And you see right there, it's a quick, easy 5 yards against people who are bringing pressure. Now, the adjustment people might start making is they might bring him, and let's say they man up this side. Well, what you're going to see still is that this hitch is actually going to beat man coverage. So safeties, because at first he's going vertically, they don't know if it's a streak or not, so they just can't, or a streak or a slant or whatever it might be, they just can't immediately bite down on the hitch. So as soon as the hitch breaks and turns, you just lowball it, and it's an easy 4 to 5 yards. But another thing that's great about the hitches is that even though it's amazing against people who are bringing pressure, what you can see is it's actually great at just beating regular coverage too. Right there it was incomplete, and the only reason it was incomplete was a diving throw, or a diving SWAT animation. So that right there tells you that it won't be picked. It's just not going to be picked. Now, something to note is that you definitely want to throw the hitch on the wide side, preferably, just so flats can't play it as well. We can see I'm comfortable to throw this ball every time. as long as you low ball it and possession catch it. Now, you won't always catch it, but it will 99% of the time it won't be picked as long as you make a read where the defender isn't in front of the hitch and he's not to the inside of the hitch either. So you see here, right there, you just wait on it to back off and you throw it. Now, I'm going to jump into the replay real fast. I'm going to show you why I had to wait on it. So if we look over here, you see right here that you don't want to throw this ball when he's right here. This is a pick waiting to happen. If he gets, it's still a tough interception right here. His eyes are back, but he will react on the ball, and he might be able to get an interception right there. So we wait on it, wait for him to drop back a little bit, and then we low ball it, possession catch it, and we take our, right here, that's 6 yards. And if we look on the other side of the field, I'm not throwing that because he's right there. You just can't make that read. Now if you wait on it, you see he's falling back. Now you can throw it right around here. But if he's to the inside of him, you just can't throw it. Here we see we didn't set the play up all the way, but we see how that deep crosser gets open against man-to-man. He had a few people trailing him with some kind of match coverage. So you see, even without the pull route, that crosser is still going to get open. We're going to wait on the crosser again. We got hit, but if you wait for him to get to the sideline, he'll get a toe tap if you time it right. But yeah, the beauty of this play is that the hitches are basically, they're really annoying. Right here you see we're able to hit that crosser, and we just need him to hold on to the ball. Here I'm going to shade underneath, and I'm going to put my user on a D-line. And we're going to see how the hitches still, right there he was pinned behind him, so I'm able to make that throw. If we jump into instant replay again real fast, we'll see that we're able to make this throw as long as he's pinned behind him. So I threw it, it wasn't a good read, but you see how he does get behind him, and as long as he's behind him, it won't be picked. This is a really hard ball for the defense, for the AI to animate on, for whatever reason. You can see right here, low ball it, we're fine, we got 4 yards. So I think that's a great play to kind of annoy your defense, or to annoy the defense going up and down the field. It's really easy, it's a really easy read. You just read both hitches. People are bringing pressure. They really have to rethink how they want to bring pressure, just because you need zones to be able to play that, and it's really tough to figure out how to get zones to play. You need kind of a lucky break, or you need to work it with your user. And if you see a user on one side of the field, just throw it to the other hitch. Man-to-man won't guard it. So I think this is a really nice complementary play. So for our third setup of circle, it's gonna be a combination of the last two, and all we're gonna do is max protect again, obviously, make sure the crosser's on the left side, because it's gonna be on the short side going to the wide side, and then we're just gonna slant B, and we're going to either hitch or drag Y. And so what happens here is that this route combination kind of goes together really nicely with, obviously you have a deep crosser that has to be usered, you have the drag getting underneath of all of the zones, and you have the slant kind of splitting the difference between the deep crosser and the drag. So it's like a 3-leveled route combination. And so what we're going to see here is, we're going to see here, wide open for 20 yards. And that time we didn't have to wait on it very long. The drag sucked a zone down, and that's all we had to do. Here we're going to wait again. See, this time the drag's open kind of late, and if you're able to make someone miss, you can get a good amount of yards right there. If we get tackled right away, it's 5 or 6 yards, which is awesome. And so what we can also do, obviously we can hitch him, and we can do on the hitch is you can wait on it right here. Kind of a weird animation. It was match man right there, so it was just kind of a weird coverage right there. But if we drag him, you can see that this route combination goes together great. You see the slants open late right there. It makes someone miss. You have a chance for a touchdown. Obviously, like I said, you want the crosser on the short side going to the wide side. Something you can do, and this goes to all other plays, is if you don't want to totally tip your hand to where your route combination is, you can, or where the routes are coming from, you can motion him over, and it looks like you flip the play, and people can't really tell if you flip the play, and then you can motion him over, then you can flip it, you can motion him over, not flip it. You can kind of do little mind games like that. But yeah, these routes go together really nicely. You can see once again, B is wide open, and I think that's a really, this is a play I mainly use, or the route combination I mainly use. You know, other ones are kind of more situational. This is one I'd go up and down the field with. So our fourth setup of circle is going to be kind of a gadget play almost. We're not really going to use it that much, but all we're going to do is max protect. We're going to in route B, we're going to flat route A, we're going to hitch Y, and then we're going to put RB on a wheel. And so what you're going to see is that with the route combination over there, we're going to have a huge pocket for the wheel, and it almost has to be usered or manned up. Now if it's manned up, this does not beat man coverage unless you can really wait on the wheel to get over top of the man coverage, which isn't something we're really going to be able to do that often. It's not really what we're looking for. But the first read on this play is going to be the hitch. If the hitch isn't open, we're going to wait on the wheel, and we're going to throw the wheel. Now, you have to kind of look at the wheel and decide when you want to throw it. Sometimes right there, we'll throw it late. Other times, we're going to kind of throw it as he turns up. Like right here, we want to throw it like right there. Could have waited a little bit longer, but that's really around the area you're going to want to throw it. Really, I like to run this play. I don't like to run it too often. Really, only times I like to run it is when I feel like I'm getting stopped, or I feel like he's really just not expecting it. You can't run it as often as the other plays, but it definitely is a nice play to throw in and something they have to respect with their user. Right there was a bad read if he's not playing all the way to the sideline. I'm not sure what zone that was. It might have been like a seam flat or something, where you'll see if clouds and hard flats will both play all the way out, which are the most common flat zones, obviously. So right there, we shaded underneath, and so the vertical hook did play down and ended up playing the wheel. So we just wait on it and throw a little bit late to the outside. And this time we'll show it against cloud flats. And we see it's to the inside. Now this will play a little bit different against seams. Curl flats or fine against with seam flats are kind of a problem for it. But you don't really see those very often in online play, so you don't really have to worry about it.